Hey everyone, thank you all for joining for yet another Apache Pinot meetup. We have an awesome topic today, compatibility regression testing for Apache Pinot with two amazing speakers. And I will introduce them now. So our first speaker, they're actually going to be presenting together. We have someone doing presentation and there's also going to be a live demo. We love live demos. So the first speaker is Ming Liang. He's a software engineer at LinkedIn. On the LinkedIn's Pinot team, where he supports Pinot use cases at LinkedIn and tackles various platform challenges, mostly focusing on end-to-end test, metrics, and provisioning. Previously, he worked on cluster management as a software engineer at VMware, and he's also a code contributor to various open source projects like Kubernetes and etcd. Sharayu Gandhi is our other speaker today. She recently joined LinkedIn's Pinot team as a software engineer and she has big data tech experience such as Spark, Kafka, and NoSQL database, real-time analytics, and cloud. Her work in Pinot currently involves solving platform challenges like metrics and provisioning, testing framework, and raw data compression support. So I'm going to bring them both in. Welcome, Sharayu and Ming.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hope everyone is doing well.
Yeah, feel free to chat in the chat window also. If you guys have any questions during the presentation, feel free to ask in the chat. And we can absolutely get to it at the end during Q&A. And if you are watching this on demand, you can also join the Pinot Slack channel, where you can also find Sharayu and Ming there and some other folks who are also pretty knowledgeable about the topic that can also help. I will post a link to the Slack URL in the chat as well. And I think that if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I always forget that for some reason. All right, cool. So Sharayu and Ming, I'm going to let you guys take it away. I'm going to put myself backstage and we'll see you guys during the Q&A.
Good. Very good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining. Today, me and my colleague Ming, we are going to talk about compatibility regression testing for Apache Pinot. As part of this presentation, what I'll be covering is motivation for designing this test framework. We'll discuss about design and architecture. We'll discuss about the test framework as a holistic view and test suite. We'll also see how you can build your own test suite. And Ming will cover the sections for demo, and we'll also discuss about future work and opportunities in this project. Let's discuss about the motivation behind creating this test framework. Pinot consists of controllers, brokers, and servers. Sometimes it happens that Pinot version upgrades or rollbacks can lead to incompatibility issues. This results in downtime or service disruption, where users are not able to query their data and components are not able to interact. In order to mitigate this problem, we have designed a test framework where users of Pinot can use them and they can verify if if there are any incompatibility issues during version upgrades. Let's move towards the architecture. The regression testing in the test framework are done for both offline as well as real-time tables. For this regression test, data can be ingested using some set of version of components, controllers, brokers, and servers. And the data that has been previously ingested can still be queried. We'll discuss more about this in the design section. Also, in OSS, we see a sample test suite. This sample test suite consists of support for offline data push via CSV data. And for the real time, we provide a Kafka setup. In the real time, we also make sure to leave some rows behind. This is to make sure that we test the reconsuming segments after restart. There is also a support for custom configurations for controllers, brokers, and servers. Say, if you are trying to push a new commit to Apache Pinot, you can test your commit using this sample test suite against any of the commit present in GitHub or against any previous release. Moving towards the design section. As you can see in the diagram, the diamond boxes are used to represent the set of operations which are to be performed after these upgrades for different versions of different components of Pinot. To explain this in a bit, say you upgraded your controller and you want to verify certain results against this upgraded controller. So here what can you do? You can upgrade the controller, you can push your data and verify the current results. Now say you have upgraded your broker and you want to test the data both after upgrading broker as well as the previous data which was ingested during controller upgrade. So in this way, you can verify all your results. This is to make sure that all different versions of different components of Pinot are tested together for compatibility issues. So now, currently in the GitHub workflow, compatibility testing is part of every PR. Every PR is tested for compatibility against previous commit as well as against previous release. Along with this, we definitely support and encourage you guys to build your own test suite. This test suite will be associated with each installation of Pinot, and you do not have to write any particular code for it. You'll get all the sample YAML files present in the sample test suite, and this test suite can run in your specific environment. So all your custom configurations, all your secrets, everything is okay. If you want any extra operations to be added into the test suite, please file an issue. We'll be happy to help. Yeah. So let's discuss about the test suite. So this is a sample test suite. We'll definitely get into more details when Ming shows you the demo. This is currently present in OSS. It consists of two sections. The first is configuration and the second is YAML files. In configuration, all your data, all your queries, query results, and table configs and other information is present. The YAML files actually represent the set of test suite operations which are to be performed on your upgraded versions or downgraded versions of different components. So for example, say there is an operation of table OP. So you can create and delete real-time table or offline table. For segment OP, you can upload your offline data. For stream OP, you can upload your real-time data. For query OP, you can run and verify your queries. Now, to give you a holistic picture of how the test framework works. As you can see in this diagram, the right section of it represents our Pinot components. These components are having different versions. So controllers, brokers, servers, and their different upgraded set of different versions. We also have a support for Kafka and Pinot data for offline as well as real-time. The test suite operations are those which I mentioned just now in the YAML files, where you can create, delete, and test against different versions of the controller, broker, and server. And this test driver will be used to run them all. Now with the presentation, I wanted to hand over to Ming to actually show you how this works in current GitHub.
Ming, do you want me to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. He's going to share his screen in a moment. Cool. Ready? You let me know when you're ready to bring your screen in. That was awesome, Sharayu. Thank you for, taking the time and going over all this. Ming, you let me know when you're ready. And like I said, for those watching, if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to ask. We do have another person from the LinkedIn Pinot team here as well, who's also going to be helping answer questions. Subu, who presented yesterday on optimizing performance in Apache Pinot. So he will be joining us for the Q&A at the end as well. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask during the presentation. We'll be taking them in order as we go. Ming, let me know when you're ready.
I think I'm ready.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. So first, let's go through successful positive case. So as you know, now the compatibility regression testing is enabled on GitHub. So for every pull request, we will run the compatibility regression test against the commit to its previous release and its previous commit. So let's randomly pick a PR, and you can see now this two compatibility regression testing is enabled. Let's click into the log. Yeah, we can see that it first will check out your current commit, and this test was against release 0.7.1. So it will check out your current commit and check out the previous release, build them, and it's build them. By the way, because building is pretty time consuming, so we do some optimization. We will build the previous list and the current commit in parallel. So after the building is complete, we will run the test against the default test suite. But user can provide their own customized test suite too. So first it will set up the cluster using using the component built from the old release. So basically, it first starts Zookeeper, wait for the Zookeeper service is ready, and start controller, start broker, and start server. After that, it will basically create a table, push some segments, and run some query against the table. And it also push some, as well as offline table. It also will create some real-time table. So it will create a Kafka topic and push some stream and run some queries. Then after that, we try to upgrade the controller. Again, wait for the controller be ready, and push some segment, some stream, and run some query against the table. Then upgrade broker. Wait for broker be ready. Push segments and run queries, and update server. After that, we will try to downgrade. So downgrade server, push some segments, run some query, and downgrade downgrade the broker, run some query, and finally downgrade the controller and run some query. So if all the steps are succeed, then the test will pass. Otherwise, it will fail. So let me also show a negative case. So for a negative case, let's think about this case. Assume that we bump up forward index format from V3 to V4. So V3 is the current version we support. So if we bump up the version, right? So the new server can read both V3 and V4, but old server can only read V3. So it will be good when we upgrade, but it's incompatible when the server roll back. So here is so let me show you how we change the code. So here is the change I made for this negative case demo. So basically, I add a new version. Let's call it the demo version, which is 4. So previously, the default version is 2. We support 3 though, but actually we use 2. So now as we bump up the version 4, so the new server, the new server which will contain this commit, so it can understand the version 4 format. But when we downgrade it, so it cannot. It will have some issue when it loads the segment, the index generated by the new server. So when we downgrade it, it will have issues. Since the build is time consuming, so I built it previously. So now I can show how it got failed. So basically, you can using the script check and build, and to build the release. So you can specify a work DLR. So the work DLR means that the code will be checked out into this DLR and build the old release and the new release. You can also specify some the commit number. So for example, you can specify the old commit hash and the new commit hash. Apart from hash, you can also specify the tag, release tag. So if you not specify the commit hash, then current hash will assumed. So here, because I'm in the compat demo branch, so I don't need to specify the current commit. So I use this command to build the tool release. Then we can run that no. Actually, I build the tool release into this directory. Now I can run the compatibility test against this work DLR, and I can specify the test suite. Yeah, so it first using the old release build to start the zookeeper, and start the old controller, wait for the controller be ready, start broker, wait for the broker be ready, and then it try to push some segments, run some queries. Then we will try to upgrade controller. Now you can see that the control, we will start the new controller. Wait for the new controller be ready. Cool, the controller is ready. Then it will push some segments and run queries. Then start upgrade broker. Run queries. Now we will try to upgrade the server. Oh, wait for server ready is a little bit time consuming. So at the same time, I can show you how to write a customized sample suit. So basically, for each step, we define you can define some YAML file to specify what kinds of operation you want to conduct. For example, the post let's say pre-controller upgrade YAML. So before controller is upgraded, we can run some operation. For example, create a Kafka topic, create a table, upload some segments into the table, right? And finally, and the last, run some queries against the table. So basically, for each step, you can define some YAML files which contains the operation you want to conduct, and you can provide your own table schema and the table data and your customized queries. So basically, the compatibility test conducted in an end-to-end way. So it will verify that you can create a table, push segments, and the query result was expected. Oh, cool. Cool, that the test has completed. You see, we upgraded the server, wait for the server. After the server is upgraded, we put some segments, run some queries. It works well. Then it try to downgrade the server. So after downgrade, then we have issues because the previously the old server will produce a segment with new index format, but the old server cannot understand the new format. So we have some issues. So the query result is not as we expected. Then the test failed. So now we just test it in an end-to-end way. So basically, we only verify, create a table, push segments, and run queries. And there are a lot of things we need to do. For example, we currently doesn't test the minion component. And the controller has some API. For example, you can list word tables. You can fetch metadata for a table. You can list word segments for a table, etc., etc. And those APIs haven't tested yet. So we need to address them in the future. And in terms of the query itself, we also have a lot of things need to do. For example, we haven't tested Bloom filter yet. We haven't tested no dictionary column. We haven't tested off-keep memory for consuming segments in server, and etc., etc. So we have a issue to track those to-dos. So if you guys are interested in contribution, is welcomed. Yeah, welcome all contributors. Thanks. So then next is the QA session. Do you have any questions?
Nice, awesome. Hey, thank you guys so much. I'm going to add Subu to the stream as well. If anybody watching, if you guys have any questions, we do have some questions that came in. I'll just put them on in a second. But I'm going to add Subu. Hey, Subu. Thanks for joining. Looks like you have a rock star team over here. I mean, I'm not surprised, but that was really awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to, put this stuff together. This is awesome. I know it's not easy to prepare for presentations. Okay, so we have a couple questions from Ken that came in. Our Pinot releases built each time. He said he missed the bit about an optimization to avoid the long build times.
Yes, I think currently the previous Pinot release was built every time.
Okay.
We conduct the optimization. So each time we need to compare the current release or current commit against the previous release or previous commit, right? So we build these two release or commit in parallel. But I think you point out a very interesting topic. So, for example, if we want to compare each commit against its previous release, then I think we can pre-build the previous release and catch it instead of build it for every PR.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a great answer.
Yeah. That's a good optimization though. But from that time point of view, I don't think it will save too much time because we need to build the current commit anyway, right? So at the same time, we can build the previous release.
Got it. That's a really good answer. Thank you. It's more elaborate than I expected, but it's very insightful. Some of our tables have replication greater than one. Does the framework support multiple server processes?
Oh, so I think you may mute.
Oh, I can hear you. I'm on mute. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So at this time, no, we don't support multiple server processes. It spawns one server and then it does whatever it needs to do. Most of the things shouldn't depend on replication in terms of upgrade issues, like file formats and protocols and stuff. So we should be okay with setting the replication to 1 and for your tables and doing the testing there.
Got it. Thank you. Subu, it's good we have you here to add your insight. Thanks for joining for the Q&A.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay. If you upgrade just the controller, aren't there situations where Pinot requires controller version equals the broker version or broker/server versions to function properly?
So no, the short answer is no. We don't require that the two versions be the same. What we do is, as a practice, is to upgrade controllers, brokers, and servers in that order. Minions can actually go in any order, but we usually upgrade them at the end. So as long as you follow this order and reverse the order when you are backing off, you should be good. And we make sure that the compatibility is there in that the new controller version and old broker versions are okay, and similarly the new broker version and old server versions are okay to talk to each other.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So if anybody has any other questions, please ask now before the presentation ends, and then it's not like they can't get to you guys, but and also comments what you thought about the presentation. I'm also going to put the link in here for the Slack, for the Pinot Slack, if you guys have any questions, if you're watching it on demand or watching it later. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. Ken had another comment. I thought it was a rolling upgrade where there were tests done in between each component's upgrade.
Correct. So you can specify your tests to be done at each stage, like what Sharayu presented in the slide. So you can say, here is the setup that I need to do before any upgrade process is started. So that's your pre-controller. And then yes, there is a rolling upgrade of first upgrade the controller, do something, and then the broker and do something. The idea behind this is in a live installation, it is impossible to upgrade all components at the same time. And if you do, you're taking a downtime. So then what we do is we upgrade a bunch of controllers for some time, we watch it, and we make sure that everything is good. And during this time, millions of queries are going through Pinot at LinkedIn, definitely, with a controller running the new version and the broker and server running the old version. And then we do the same thing with the brokers. And then there are hundreds of these. So obviously they cannot be done in one go. So you do some brokers are running new and some brokers are running old. And so all of these should work. But at no time do we want that the server is upgraded first and then the broker is upgraded. That compatibility we don't guarantee in Pinot, just because it's hard to guarantee upgrade in any order. So we chose this order and we said we'll follow this in terms of our development process to make sure that new brokers can talk to old servers, but may not be vice versa.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Oh, this is great, guys. Thank you so much for like taking the time and putting together the presentations, and live demos are so nerve-wracking, but they're so much fun. So if in the future you want to do more live demos, let me know. We'll bring it back. So I think that's all the questions for now. If anybody is watching on demand afterwards, because this is going to be published to YouTube, so it's going to be available on demand in the future. If anyone's watching in the future, you're welcome to join the Pinot community Slack and ask any questions there, any follow-up questions. So
yeah, and I wish to add that in LinkedIn, we have our own pipeline of test suite. So we have a test suite that we run, and we have a CI pipeline that we know our deployed versions, and we know the version that's out there in the master now, and we constantly run the upgrade test, the compatibility test across the deployed version and the current master, so that we know when something gets checked in, is it going to be still good against our deployment, and that happens like every night at LinkedIn.
Wow.
So then we have a good picture, and we put our own table configs and our own the server settings and whatever configuration that we use, along with the any special settings that we have. So that's what we encourage all of you to do, and all we need to do is actually change the YAML files to do our own tests there.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you want to add something, Sharayu?
Yeah, I just wanted to say you can add your custom configurations into those. You can add your secrets, and you can run in your own environment. So we definitely encourage it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's really nice to have like the insight on how you guys are doing everything over at LinkedIn, because it seems like you have the formula right.
Yeah, because we've been bitten by it before, where we do an upgrade and then you do a rollback due to some other reason, not necessarily
Right.
and then a rollback doesn't work, and now you're stuck in a very hard place between two very hard places. So
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's good it sucks that you had to learn from your mistakes, but it's good that you're sharing it with other people so they can also learn on how to avoid obstacles in the future. So
sure thing.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. And thank you everybody for joining and watching. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the presentation. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.